friends, today we are going over page number 4 in our packet. Yesterday you learned how to calculate the average value of a function, which is really kind of intuitive if you think about it. If we were asked to find the mean of a data set, we add all the values and divide by how many values there are. It's the same thing here. If we're trying to figure out the average value of a function, well, let's think about it. Let's add up all of our values from a to b of f of x dx. And then finally, if I want to divide by, okay, well, how many values do we have? Well, this is technically an infinite number of data points, but we are simply dividing by 1 over b, or we're dividing by b minus a. So let's go ahead and use this to calculate average values in context. All right, so this is our deer population during the time interval from 0 to 12. The population of deer can be modeled by this differentiable function, b of t, where t is measured in days. At time t equals 7, there are 145 deer in the forest. All right, so if I am looking at this expression, well, I am just essentially finding out, hey, what is the average value? So what is the average value of this function and one thing that you do want to double check is just to make sure that your widths match up. We are integrating from 7 to 12. That is a width of 5, so we have 1/5 out in front. So what is this interpretation? This is the average deer population from t equals 7 to t equals 12. That is our average deer population. And when I calculate this, well, average deer population, units of that will be deer. If we are calculating the average value of a function, the units are going to match what are the units of our function. So 1/5 integral from 7 to 12 of b of t dt. That's our average deer population, and deer population is measured in deer. All right, one minor change for this next one. Same thing here. We are calculating the average value of something. So this is our average value. But instead of figuring out the average value of b, we're finding the average value of b prime of t. So our function is b prime of t. All right, so for this one, this is not our average deer population. This is our average rate of change in the deer population. And that would be from time t equals 7 to t equals 12. To t equals 12. All right, and same thing for units. We're taking a look here. Our units are simply going to match our function. Well, if we are talking about the rate of change in the deer population, our units are not going to be deer. Our units are going to be deer per day. All right, so quick review of what we have here. When we're calculating average values of functions, our units are going to match our units of our function. And then just make sure with your interpretation, you include the time from t equals 7 to t equals 12. If you just say average deer population, it's not going to get you credit on the AP exam. You have to state average deer population from 7 days to 12 days. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this next problem, example 4. A is pretty straightforward. You can use a calculator on this one. So this will be GCalc-Aloud. All right, and if I want to find the average value of f of x on the interval of 1 to 8, I'm going to go ahead and pause this video. And I would like for you to calculate part A. Calculate part A only. So go ahead and take a moment, pause the video, and I would like for you to calculate part A. All right, let's go ahead and calculate this one. So for this one, average value of f of x on the interval from 1 to 8, you're set up for your calculator. You should have 1/7 We're integrating from 1 to 8. I'm going to be lazy and just type in f of x dx. I sure hope you were all in radians. This came out to be 27.382. 27.382. So give yourself a little pat on the back. If you're in degrees, shame. All right, now next one, I'm actually going to show you this in 2 ways because it's going to connect quite a few things that we have learned. So the average rate of change, I'm going to show you this in 2 ways. All right, one way is going to be incredibly inefficient, and someone is going to enjoy it. But one way is going to be incredibly inefficient. The other one is going to go back to literally slope, which you learned in Algebra 1, hopefully. All right, so if I were to figure out the average rate of change of f of x, well, the long way we could do this is figure out, okay, well, the rate of change of x is f prime of x. If I take my derivative, this is 2x plus, ooh, we got a nice little chain rule here. First off, derivative of 3 is 0. Derivative of 2 sine of x squared minus 1 is going to be 2 cosine x squared minus 1 times 2x. Don't forget the derivative of the interior there. And if I'm asked to find the average rate of change, well, let's find the average of this. So this will be 1/7 integral from 1 to 8 of f prime of x dx. All right, and when I calculate that via graphing calculator, my average rate of change is 9.048. 9.048. So that is definitely my least efficient method to do this. Average rate of change. All right, I'm going to take the derivative, and then I'm going to find the average of the derivative. All right, it works. Or you could just think of, hey, average rate of change, that is a slope. Average rate of change could be calculated by f of 8 minus f of 1 all over 8 minus 1. And you could get the exact same thing, 9.048. Average rate of change. Long way, short way. And it's actually pretty intuitive of why that works. Let's talk about why these two things are equivalent. Well, let's think about this. This integral right here is the exact same as this expression right here. If I'm asked to find the integral from 1 to 8 of f prime of x dx, or nice little thick marker, 1 to 8 of f prime of x dx, well, let's talk about what that would be equal to. The antiderivative of f prime is f of x, and we are simply evaluating from 1 to 8. That's the same thing we did right there. And then 1/7, that's the same thing as 1 over 8 minus 1. All right, so average rate of change, quick reminder. 2 ways you could go about this. You could calculate the rate of change and take the average value of it, or you could just do a slope. Those are the exact same answers. All right, so quick reminder of what we did in this video. We talked about why our units are matching up with a function that we're taking the average value of. And then finally, we just quickly reminded ourselves the difference between average value of a function versus the average rate of change. We talked about 2 different ways you could go about that. Hope you have a great weekend.